I'm Brian Altano, and on today's Daily Fix, we found out why Doom the Dark Ages is single player only, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is getting a physical version, but not on Xbox, and one of the best modern horror directors ever is making a legacy sequel to David Bowie's Labyrinth? What? It's the Daily Fix. Happy Friday, everyone. You made it to the end of the week. You got through a bunch of days that aren't the weekend, and your reward is a weekend. Your other reward is me delivering you some gaming and entertainment news, so let's get to it. Let's start with Doom, because Doom kicks ass. At this week's new Xbox Developer Direct, we got to see a ton of new footage for the upcoming ultra-gory first-person action game, Doom the Dark Ages, and yes, it looked awesome. On top of learning about the May 15, 2025 release date, early access collector's bundle, and tons of new violent as hell weapons and kill machines that players will use to once again rip and tear through hordes of monsters. Possibly the biggest news we got was about Doom the Dark Ages multiplayer mode, or really, that it doesn't have one. Turns out we have official confirmation that Doom the Dark Ages is a single player campaign only, which is weird because both 2016's Doom and its sequel 2020's Doom Eternal had online multiplayer. So what's the deal and why the change for Doom the Dark Ages? Well, speaking to press ahead of the announcement, executive producer Marty Stratton and game director Hugo Martin explained that the decision to go single player only was made early so id Software could focus fully on the campaign itself. We made that decision early so that we could really just go all in on the campaign, Stratton said. It's our largest, most expansive, most epic campaign ever, and we're just really happy with the decision, and I think it's been awesome to have the team focused just on polishing and finishing the campaign. Now, Martin added that because of the decision to ditch multiplayer, id Software was able to include features in the campaign that it wouldn't have been able to otherwise. These include sections where you ride a fire-breathing dragon and pilot 30-story high Atlan mechs. That's why we were able to put the dragons and the Atlan in, Martin said. I mean, these are things we wanted to do in the game for multiple games now, but couldn't because we had a multiplayer component, which we loved. But really, it was meant to just focus on the single player campaign and just level up that experience for players. So, how do you feel about this change? To me, it feels kind of like a trade deal a 7-year-old would make on a playground, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like, hey, instead of all of us, playing kickball together, how about you each get a big dragon and a big mech action figure, and you all get to go and play by yourselves? Deal? Deal. Now that Xbox Developer Direct Showcase didn't just deliver us some new looks at Doom the Dark Ages, we also got updates on a couple of other big first-party Xbox games, but the biggest surprise of them all was the reveal of Ninja Gaiden 4, the brand new sequel to the legendary Ninja Gaiden franchise, which I called Ninja Gaiden as a kid for like 20 years until someone corrected me. It looks awesome. If you've never played any of these games before, get ready to get your ass kicked because they are tough. And not like Soulsborne tough where you can just, over level or summon a stranger to beat a boss for you. No, in Ninja Gaiden, you actually need to train and get good. Along with that surprise also came the surprise shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, a remake of the 2008 Xbox 360 classic Ninja Gaiden 2. It's out now on Xbox, PS5, PC, and Game Pass, but despite being an Xbox game that was announced at an Xbox showcase and hit Xbox Game Pass day one, it's only getting a physical disc version on PS5 and not on Xbox. So online retailer PlayAsia said it has partnered with the publisher Koei Tecmo to exclusively release a PS5 physical version of the remaster on March 27th, but there's no mention of a physical Xbox version, which is a bummer for physical game collectors over on the Xbox side. Now, this is not totally shocking. Microsoft has not so quietly moved away from having box games on store shelves in favor of Xbox users subscribing to their Game Pass service or just building out digital libraries. If you go down to like any Best Buy or Target and you look at the Xbox section, it's pretty anemic recently. We found out that the upcoming Xbox game Avowed won't have an actual disc in its collector's edition, meaning it's going to ship with an empty steelbook to put on your shelf that doesn't have a game in it. Digital game sales have been trending upwards as physical game sales slow down for years now, but it seems that out of the big three console makers, Microsoft is accelerating that change as fast as they can on their side. But if you do want a boxed copy of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black in your collection, at least you'll have the PS5 version as an option that you can keep on your shelf for years to come. And finally, speaking of things from decades ago that I didn't exactly expect to hear about this week, again, the 1986 dark fantasy classic film Labyrinth, most known for scaring me as a child by showing me a baby getting kidnapped, horrifying puppets, the bog of eternal stench, which makes you stink forever, and David Bowie's huge frontal bulge in tight pants, is getting a sequel written and directed by Nosferatu, the Witch, the Lighthouse, and the Northman director Robert Eggers. So get ready to be scarred for life again, but probably for totally different reasons. Variety reports that Eggers will write and direct the sequel. Now, a sequel was previously in the works with Sinister director Scott Derrickson attached, but with no updates since 2023, it appears that TriStar and Jim Henson Pictures decided to move forward with a new sequel from Eggers, who is hot off making the hit legacy remake film Nosferatu, which just launched around Christmas. Originally released in 1986, Labyrinth starred Bowie as the Goblin King Jareth, who kidnaps Jennifer Connelly's baby brother. She ventures into the dark fantasy world to rescue her brother with the help of a gang of Henson Muppets, and they're all weird looking. The Labyrinth sequel isn't the only thing Eggers is working on. It was also revealed that the director will be directing a werewolf movie titled Werewolf. WERWULF, with plans for a Christmas 2026 release. The only known details about that movie is that it's set in 13th century England. Now, look, I'm a huge fan of Eggers' movies. I'm also kind of skeptical about him tackling Labyrinth, since the original, while totally creepy, weird, and downright dark at times, is mostly a whimsical kids film that also doubles as a completely insane David Bowie concert. Bowie died years ago, and he's like a really tough act to follow, let alone replace, so maybe the sequel will go in a totally different direction, ditch the music part, or they'll get some horrible new musician and just make it bad. Either way, the original Labyrinth is a classic and a favorite in my household, so I'm really, really hoping this thing comes together. And that's your Games Fix for Friday, January 24th. Tons of awesome stuff on IGN this week. If you missed it, brand new episodes of Nintendo Voice Chat, Podcast Beyond, I'm on both of those. Unlocked, Game Scoop, Next Gen Console Watch, I'm on none of those, but you should watch them anyway. If you want some shows to throw on in the background while you play video games this weekend, or cook, or clean, or just stare at a wall, really, just stare into the abyss, hoping for the best, we got you covered. Either way, thanks for rocking with me today on the Daily Fix, and we'll see you back here Monday.